In this video, you'll be learning how to cut and sew basic sleeve. Welcome to our foundation class. I believe you must have seen a previous video on how to take accurate body measurements and every other video on basic top. So I'll make reference to a top that we made in the previous video, and I'll measure the armhole to be sure that it was exactly what we measured. To do that, I want to fold it. I'm folding it so that you can see that the shape is equal on both sides. It is expected that you should have half of your armhole circumference. Mine was 7 and it's 7. That means it's accurate. So you need to check if what you measured is what you have. 7 times 2 is 14. We must have, I measured 14, so I have 7 now because it is 2 front and back, so you multiply by 2. So now that is the measurement I'll use on my sleeve armhole as well. So to do that, I'll fold my pattern paper into 2. You know, our round circumference for the sleeve will be divided by 2. Yeah, I believe you get that. So paper unfold so that when I'm transferring to fabric, I'll remember that I have to fold my fabric as well. So I'll have a starting point by measuring the length of my so it is important that I mark a starting point so that I can know the length of my sleeve. The length of the sleeve depends on what type of sleeve you want to achieve. This is a basic sleeve, so I'll be using a length of 8 inches. Also, to get my circumference, I'll measure divide by 2 because the paper is on fold. Whatever your armhole circumference is what you divide by 2. That's very important. So assuming you have 20 as your armhole circumference, you divide by 2 and that will be 10. Just an example. So I'll note my sleeve length now. I'm using 8 because it's just a basic sleeve and I want a short sleeve with 1 inch folding allowance at the hem. So I'll connect my line. I'll just make it so that you can see it. And this is the allowance that we use to fold it. When you make a sleeve, you must leave allowance to fold. So after sewing it, it will come back to the original length that I want to achieve. So you also need to know your armhole depth. From your shoulder to your armpit is your armhole depth. So for the body form, it was 4 and I'll be using 4. So on that part, I will note where my circumference is. That's why I'm making the line obvious. Then my round sleeve circumference divided by 2 is what I'll be using here because paper is on fold. So I'm using 6 right now. So if it's wearing to unfold, it would have been 12. So I divided by 2 and I'll connect it to the starting point. So now I will note the center line on the starting point. The line is 7, the center is 3.5. So now we want to make our armhole cuff so that we can attach it perfectly to the armhole on the basic top. So I can actually connect using a French cuff, but I want to use a freehand so that a lot of people can also do it even without a French cuff. So you connect above the line to the middle center and you come below to the round sleeve measurement that we took. So that is how to go about that. You can watch the video repeatedly to understand that. Then you take your round sleeve measurement on the hem line. That is the edge of your sleeve, wherever it is. If it's on the elbow, if it's on the wrist, you take it and you note it. So once you note that, the next thing you want to do is that you want to make an allowance for that part too. Then you connect it. I use 1 inch sewing allowance on that part. Then I extend my armhole cuff. So you measure it because you need to be sure that it is exactly what you have here that you have on the basic sleeve. You don't want it excess, except you want a style that you want it to be excess. So now I'm taking my measurement and it's 7. I have exactly what I have on my basic sleeve, and the extra 1 inch is for the allowance. So from this point to the end of my round sleeve measurement is exactly what I have, and the extra inch that you're seeing is my sewing allowance. So whatever length you want to achieve is the length that you will use. What is important is the armhole circumference. Make sure it's equal to what you left on the basic bodies. So I'm cutting it out. I folded my fabric and I'm cutting it exactly what I have on the pattern paper. So I'll cut two of these, one for the right sleeve and one for the left sleeves. So let me use this opportunity to tell you that we have a YouTube channel. You can follow us and watch our video tutorial at Tolex Afrique Fashion Academy. Our YouTube channel name is Tailors Up by Tolex Afrique, so you can see a lot of videos there that will help you. So now I have cut out my sleeve and it is perfect. So what I will do is go on the sewing machine and sew my 1 inch allowance. You can see that. So I'll fold it and also fold out my 1 inch for the sewing allowance. Now I'm left with the measurements that we will attach to the basic bodies. I'll notch the center line so I can have the center line on the shoulder line, then I have the side seam on the side seam. Just watch, you get what I mean now. So here is the basic bodies. I'll unzip so that I can fix it comfortably. Then I'll make sure that my side seam, I'll open up, then I'll make sure that I match it with the side seam of the basic body. I'll also open up like so. Yeah, the lines are set. Then I'll go to my machine and stitch round. I also make sure the place I notch matches the shoulder seam line exactly like this, so that it will be very neat. Then I'll attach it together. You can attach it with office pin to make it easier on the sewing machine. Just make sure that your lines set, your side seam matches your side seam, and you're good to go. Let me show you what it looks like after I made it. All I need to do now is just to go to the pressing table and just iron it out, and that's it.